I'd like to call the August the 8th, 2024 meeting of the City Council to order. If everybody would stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for your many blessings. We thank you for overseeing our community. Thank you for guiding us through the storm and with the little damages we had. And thank our public works and police and first responders and fire and all for all the help they gave during that time. We ask you to look after our community and guide us tonight in our deliberation that what we do is pleasing in your eyes for the betterment of our community. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Please, thank you. Call the roll.
Mr. Durgan, Mr. Hill,
Here.
Ms. Young, Mr. Carter,
Present.
Mayor Witt,
Here.
Mr. Rosenthal,
Here.
Mr. Martin,
Present.
Chief Butler.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the Lake City Council is open to public meetings. In 1968, the city code has prohibited any person from making personal and inflammatory remarks on the company boisterous while addressing the city council. Yelling or making audible comments from the audience constitutes boisterous conduct. Such conduct will not be tolerated. There's only one approved manner of addressing the city council that's to be recognized as speaking from the podium. As a reminder, persons are not to openly carry a handgun or carry a concealed weapon or firearm while the governing body is meeting. Failure to abide by these rules of decorum will result in removal from the meeting. First item is approval of the agenda.
So, second.
Motion and second to approve the agenda is published. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, next is recognitions. I'll turn it over to Mr. Rosenthal.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, I'd like to take a moment to read some of the highlights from the press release that's in the agenda packet. It says on Friday, July the 26th, representatives from the Lake City Police Department joined law enforcement officials from around the state at the annual Traffic Safety Talent Awards. These awards, hosted by the Florida Department of Transportation, recognize agencies statewide for their traffic safety efforts. Over 250 agencies ranging from city police, county sheriffs, and state agencies, including the Florida Highway Patrol, are vetted by FDOT Safety Office. In 2023, the Lake City Police Department won first place in the agencies with 36 to 50 sworn personnel category. This year, the Lake City Police Department was placed in the champions category, made up of the first place winners from all the categories the previous year. Chief Gerald Butler was notified in advance that the department had placed in the top 3, along with the Mariana Police Department and Florida Highway Patrol Troop E from Miami-Dade County. At the ceremony, an excited crowd cheered as Lake City was the final agency to be recognized as first place, with the overall best traffic safety program in the entire state among agencies of all sizes. Assistant Chief Anthony Miles, Lieutenant Robert Milligan, Sergeant Mike Lee, and Traffic Officer Blake Craig accepted the award on behalf of the department. Now, this award is a testament to the hard work and the dedication of the City Police Department, said Chief Butler. Lake City, Florida's gateway, is the nexus where many major roadways converge, bringing over 50,000 vehicles in our city on average every day. We are committed to making our roadways safe for our residents and visitors, the chief said. So we are honored by this award and plan to continue our efforts to improve safety in our streets. That's straight from our chief. I'd like you to congratulate that department along with me. Additionally, I'd like to talk a little bit about Steve Brown, recognized our Executive Director of Utilities and Natural Gas and his entire staff for receiving a satisfactory report from the State of Florida Public Service Commission on a recent annual natural gas pipeline safety evaluation for 2024. The gas system was found to be satisfactory in compliance, and it was evaluated thoroughly. So we want to join in congratulating Steve and his entire staff, not only for that, but also for the work they did during the storm to turn us around and bring us back on our feet within just a few days. Mayor, I turn it back over to you.
Thank you very much. Okay, next is public participation. I have several. Sherry Carter.
Good evening, and glad we all survived. Good thing we've got good first responders. I'm Dr. Sherry Carter, and I'm here tonight to represent the Gateway Art Gallery. We were here only a few months ago to receive a proclamation from you, ourselves, for 10 years, our anniversary. We've got a number of our artists and our instructors and our supporters here tonight to back us up. Would y'all all stand? Everybody that's a member with us? So that's our contingency. Thank you. I also want to point out, Sheila, would you remain standing where you? Sheila is the curator of the gallery, and I want you to get to know her too. If you don't know where we are, we're just a few steps away. Am I pointing the right direction? So if you haven't been in, please come and see us. So we're an all-volunteer organization, nonprofit. We represent 35 local artists. We have all volunteers with one half-time paid employee, and yet we're open over 40 hours a week. So, and in the 30 years I've lived in Lake City, there have been 4 attempts to establish an art gallery here and an art program, and this is the only one that's lasted. The only other long-lasting one was 2 years, but they've all folded. So it's something that's long been needed in our community. Most recently, by the Lake City Reporter, we were designated the best of the best for Best Activity Center in the area. We've done 2 major projects with the disabled veterans, so we appeal to a lot of different demographics. We have, because we count them, 5,000 people in foot traffic in a year. So we're pretty inured in downtown Lake City, and we'd like to be able to stay here. So why am I here? And that is, we hope to be on the agenda very soon to come to you with a specific request. So I mostly want to introduce us tonight. Since COVID, as you know, and inflation, all of our prices have gone up. Our rents nearly doubled in the 3 years since COVID. So we are having to consider purchasing a location, and if so, as a nonprofit, we're gonna need some help, maybe for the down payment, maybe help in securing a loan, maybe help in renovation of whatever location. Now, how do we function now? Well, we do it like any other nonprofit, and that is we make small charges for the classes we teach to cover our overhead. We get grants, we get donations from individuals, many of them you saw stand up a moment ago. We also partner with local businesses when we can, so we can continue to do things, and we sell our memberships, of course. So here's the thing, time is of the essence. Our current lease is up in May of 2025, and we need a plan. We can't even budget out for next year till we know what our expenses are gonna be. Oh, is that my thing? 3 minutes?
I'll give you extra minute.
Okay, sorry. So we want to stay downtown. We appreciate any help you can give us. We will come back with a plan in next month when we get on the agenda, and we thank you. As individuals, if you've got any ideas to help our longevity and help us last, what a shame to celebrate 10 years and then not be able to go on, and we want to. And we don't want to cut any of our programs to be able to do it. So thank you for having us here tonight.
Thank
Appreciate
y'all
the
for
time.
coming.
Thank you.
Mr. Warren?
Now, before you start the clock, if you would, I want to present some evidence of some items. I think Madam Clerk can keep them. I don't need them back. I have copies. One to pass around and one for each one of y'all as far as people are concerned. You can ask the deputy to get those and pass it to you. Mr. Mayor, if I would, before you start the clock, in presenting this evidence, pictures or whatever it is that Madam Clerk may want to deem these to be, the pictures display the benches in the business district, and I talked to that in my comments. I want you to see how the benches are being used right next to the businesses. And then second, there's some highlighted portions on that paper that's going around that has exposed my social security number, which I think is foul and I think it's intentional, but we'll talk about that in another thing.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know you wanted me to go ahead. All right, so, Mayor and council members, slave patrol continues without any checks and balances and consequences. How you see it before you. Mayor, I would ask for a request for a full investigation into this matter because I have several instances where my family members' social security number has been exposed in complaints such as this as it regards to my social security number and my sibling's social security number, and when other people on the report, social security numbers are not even mentioned and whatnot. And so I find this to be an ongoing thing with law enforcement as it relates to me as an activist, a former activist and entrepreneur in Lake City, and with the long email and evidence of police harassment that can be verified. I go on to talk about the street signs, Mayor. I think you and the council voted on renaming Rural Street after Miss Presley. There was a ceremony. She was given the key to the city. You signed the proclamation. Nothing has taken place since then. I think that's very unfortunate. Low-hanging fruit such as something so minor as to that has not been done. That's been a few months ago. So I don't know what the issue is with that other than someone needs to prompt staff to get that taken care of before it becomes, unnecessary issue to be discussed at the podium. Also, a vote was made over a year ago to remove those benches. I think Todd Sampson made the motion. All of y'all agreed to it, and y'all were going to remove the benches over a year ago. That still hasn't happened. So again, people say, why are we complaining? Because we come, we ask for things to be voted on. You guys voted on them. And then we sit back and nothing from the vote ever takes place. There's no fruition, there's no materializing of these votes that happen from the diocese that translate back to the community as far as work being completed. Also, I would like to pivot for a moment, if you will, Mel, to the city parking space next to downtown theater. It's amazing that I had to bring it up to remind y'all on something that y'all voted on to do and let the Wilsons use that particular property. However, the gate is open, but one, the gate being open don't tell nobody what it is. There's no sign saying that it's public parking, and it's very uninviting. It looks like an institution. There's no other property that the city owns that you can park on has a 8-foot fence up to it with barbed wire coming across it. I mean, last time I saw that, I think I was doing Fed time. Most prisons have that. I don't know why is that necessary in the downtown corridor. I would ask, Mayor, that you make downtown look unified. That is on a main sector of downtown drag. Why is there a fence around the parking lot? Mayor, you did say last week, because on Monday, that you were gonna give me additional time. Am I correct?
Yeah, give 2 more minutes.
Thank you, Mayor. And lastly, Mayor, is the city manager gonna fire the current finance director or demote her, because I know he's been hunting for a new one. My final words is it is very disheartening that a lack of positive things for the Black community has been blocked by Black political leadership versus the so-called white man, while those individuals do the bidding in their stead. So, Mayor, I would ask that someone governs whomever to get this low-hanging fruit dealt with, if you would, Mayor. I think if this board makes a vote, I think the right thing to do is to have it figured out and to be responsible enough to make sure that it gets figured out.
Yep.
Thank you.
Mayor, if I may, I'd just like to mention that I'm very satisfied with my finance person, and I have not been looking for another one.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Next man should say different.
Next is Mr. Bowden.
Mayor, Council, I'll be very brief with my public comments. When the storm came through, I was out riding around. I should have been home, but it's in my DNA to just ride around and take on stuff, and that's what I do. And I was impressed when I was coming out of Baskin-Robbins. There's a lift station there at Baskin-Robbins on Main Street there by S&S. It was storming and raining, and I see these guys out there, you know, trying to get the lift station. I know it's having all that water, so the sewer started back up. And I thought about how we do in our prayers. And when you pray, man, the council pray, we always say we take our first responders and our troops and all of that. But I think sometimes we need to start talking about some of these city employees. Because I
I
can
mean,
tell
when I
you,
say it,
what
I'll
I'm
feel
saying,
bad at it.
yeah, what I'm saying to you, Mayor, is that, I say that just to people that what I want to talk about, is that these employees out there working their butt off in the middle of the night, any time of the night, because the gas leak, or rupture thing, internet, you know. And they deserve any kind of reason, city manager propose for within reason. But I can't even imagine how a person on the city council think they should get the same percentage of raise as employees get when they're doing the heavy lifting. And so I say that, so we get to that part concerning the pay raise. But just think about this before we get there. How is it that a person on the city council think that they should get the same percentage of raise as the folk who put in hard work for us? Think about this. Should Mr. Carter get the same percentage of raise as an employee who's been here for 30 years? Should Ms. Young and Mr. Jerkin get the same percentage of raise as the employees get, they only been there for less than 2 years? There's something wrong with that whole process. And it was wrong with me, man, and I said it before. I cheat the system. And it makes no sense for the system to continue to be cheated. It was wrong with me to propose a raise, automatic raise like going before the public. So when we get to this issue on the agenda, keep this in mind. It does not prevent you all from getting the raise. It doesn't. All it says is that when you authorize the city managers to give 4%, 5%, don't matter to the employees, you can get the same raise. Just do it with a resolution. So if you're not afraid of the people, then let the people have some say so. You still got to find a vote. I don't have a vote. Nobody here got a vote. So when the resolution comes up, it's not that I can get up and vote against it. I can get up and talk against it. So if you're afraid of me talking against it, or people talking against it, then you're in the wrong business. All we ask for is transparency and accountability. I didn't offer it 34 years ago. It was 34 plus years ago when I was on the city council. I served for 16 years. I didn't bring it up one time. You know why? But I wanted the pennies. It was wrong. And because I was wrong, you had to continue to be wrong. So I'm begging you tonight. Pass it along, let the people make a decision. If the people vote no, then you still get it. They vote yes, you still get it. So there's no harm is done. I'll talk to you later, guys.
Okay, Mr. Bowden, the next item is the consent agenda, and you put on there you wanted to speak to item 7. I'm not gonna remove it from the consent agenda unless somebody on the council wants it to remove it, but whatever comments you have about it, go ahead.
Well, all guys are gonna move it, as long as I get my question answered. My question is that, the reason I brought it up now is that on that particular item, I agree to the city manager, this is a wonderful proposal, it makes a lot of sense to me. That there's a grant available, you have to get the city council, that makes sense to me. However, if there's a matching funding required, if this grant requires the city to come up with $100,000, I don't think, he can speak to it himself, and he's got the profession. I don't think the city manager should go out for a grant requiring matching fund unless the council knows that that's required, and it should be in the budget. So a grant that does not require any matching funds, that makes sense. A grant that requires a matching fund, then that's a whole different kind of discussion. So I guess that's a question for the city manager, we have to ask how that be addressed.
I think that makes sense, but, we still gotta vote on it. If he applies for it and they say we gotta have extra funds, we still gotta vote.
Yeah, I get that, man, but why would you apply for it? Well, it seems to me, I'm not a city manager, but I would want to know that the city council is going to agree with this $100,000 matching fund. So I'm just, I guess the question is, would the city manager apply for a grant that requires matching fund without the city council alone?
Mayor, I'd like to address that if I may.
Okay. Yes, sir.
So, the way that I anticipate that working is that we would apply for grants that make sense. It wouldn't make sense to me to apply for a grant that requires a matching fund that the county isn't, that the city rather, isn't prepared to do. If I see something that requires a matching fund, I may poll the council and see how they feel about it. And if they are in a positive agreement on it, I would apply for that. If I see something that requires a matching fund, that the county doesn't want, I simply wouldn't apply for it. I agree with you, it doesn't make sense to apply for grants that have matching funds if we can't provide those matching funds. So I think that's more or less a moot point, because that's kind of a common sense thing, but I can understand your wanting to get an answer for that.
Oh, yeah, common sense don't.
I understand what you're saying.
Thank you. All right, the next item is the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion and second to approve the consent agenda, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Over here. Okay, we're open a public hearing on ordinance 2024-2288. Mark, would you do that?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council members, you have before you ordinance number 2024-2288, an ordinance of the City of Lake City, Florida, calling for a referendum question to be placed before the qualified electors of the City of Lake City, that a special election to be held on Tuesday, November 5th, 2024, providing a charter referendum question determining whether the means by which the City Council may establish the compensation of the mayor and members of the City Council shall be limited exclusively to adoption of a standalone resolution of the City Council where the subject matter of such resolution is limited to the question of such compensation, and permitting the City Council to further implement such charter provision by ordinance, providing for requisite ballot language, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. Should council wish to adopt this ordinance on second and final reading, an appropriate motion would be to adopt ordinance number 2024-2288 as read by title only.
Okay, Mr. Warren, you want to speak to this?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for recognizing me. Mayor, I really hate that Mr. Bowden had to speak to this issue. I hate that this issue is even on the agenda. I think it's a very embarrassing item that's on the agenda, that even had to be placed on the agenda. I think if you talk to the residents of Lake City, they're very disappointed that we're having this conversation. They found it outraged and very insulting that the council even had the mind to even indulge in giving themselves a raise. When you look at what the council does, they meet twice a month, and you look at what the city workers do during their 365, some of them on call, like you can get a after hours situation and you have to call this 752-4343. Police department connect you to somebody that's got a phone. He or she gotta get out their bed and go jump in if it's defecate, mess, if it's sewer, if it's water, whatever the case may be, gas. And to think that somehow that an elected official is supposed to be a servant is equivalent to an employee, especially when it comes to getting some type of financial benefit and a raise. On top of that, y'all use inmates as slave labor, don't pay them nothing. But you rise yourself above the working class and the working people of this city who actually vote for you to serve them, not to make more money than them and get an equal raise as them. I think that this elected body, some of this elected body, misunderstand what it means to be a public servant. People vote for you to represent them, not for you to get up here and begin to dictate to them what you're gonna do and what they expect for you to want for them. It doesn't work like that. I think that is so misunderstood. You run around when you campaign and you make all these promises, and then you get up there, you can look, people looking the other way, but they beg you for their votes when they get up there, they play church in the streets, but when they get up here, they renege, they lie, and it's wrong now. You know it's wrong. I'm glad that you're voting in the right way. Mr. Carter, I'm glad that you see the importance in not giving yourself a raise, knowing that you just got here, knowing you have not earned that, knowing that the past council that you're not sitting with have done nothing to earn that. And so I think it's all about this council taking an honest look in the mirror and knowing that you have not done anything to earn a raise. Show me one thing significant that this council has done, it has voted on, that has changed anything about the dynamics of this community as a whole, and especially in the predominant black community. Zero. So you don't deserve a raise. If you're up here voting on the people, the citizens a raise, I mean the workers a raise, I can support that. Workers need a raise, not city council members.
Val?
Madam President, the raise is a part of the ordinance. This particular cycle or budget here, you're gonna get the raise because this vote won't take place if it passes until November. So this year, whatever percent the city manager recommends, you're gonna get it. This is about the future raises and how you go about getting it. You know, whether you deserve a raise or not, you make an argument when you present the resolution. You're still gonna be able to vote for it. I'm of the opinion that this, for me, is like a voting rights issue. That you deny me as a taxpayer the opportunity to vote on something that's important to me. It doesn't stop you from getting a raise. For me, it's personal. I'm telling you straight, it's personal to me. I fought for civil rights. I fought for equal opportunity. I fought for a right to vote. And to say to me as a taxpayer, not as a voter, but as a taxpayer, that I can't have anything to say about the automatic raise before you implement it, it's blatantly unfair. In fact, I think it's actually immoral. What I did 34 years ago was selfish. And for you, if you all continue to do it, it's selfish and you can do the same thing. It was not right. I'm admitting that. I made a mistake. And to say, okay, you got guns, so keep getting it. Well, I used to use drugs. I was addicted to drugs. And so somebody who's talking to me, they want to keep using drugs, what are they going to say? Well, you use it, so I'm going to use it. The fact that I did don't make it right. It was wrong. So all I'm suggesting to the city council is that you allow the people to vote on it. If they vote no, I'm being redundant, I know. Then nothing changes. They vote yes, the only thing changes is be a resolution. And you still can get it. So if you're not afraid of the voters having some input, then you let it move forward. Otherwise, you deny me an opportunity. And I can't support anybody who deny me the right to vote. That's fundamental who I am. I stood up in the city council over there and fought against the Confederate flag sometime by myself. It's gone. There's certain things that matter of principle. I wasn't principled then, but I'm principled now. The voters got a right to have some say-so on whether or not you get a raise. And it certainly should be automatic. There's no way in which you can tell me if the economy is such that, we're doing good, we get a lot of tax dollars coming in, you're gonna get employees a 6% raise. Or gonna be a 4% raise and 2% merit, but a total amount of 6%. I don't know what the city manager is gonna propose, but I'm telling you this, to suggest that as a city council person, that you ought to deserve the same raise as the police officer, for them, as the public works people in the gas department, that just doesn't sit right. It doesn't feel good. It felt good back then. It was so small then, Mr. Barry County, I don't remember how much it was. It was a problem. There was one point in time, the former city manager didn't even give the city council a raise. And nobody missed it. And the fact that it's coming up now because we're in a new time, new technology, email, laptops, computers. Nobody coming to the city council and talking about the budget. We brought this up last year. Nobody came up because we took the time to go through the budget. Oh my God, this is there. I voted on it, forgot all about it. But now it's an issue. And I think the people deserve a right to vote, and I would encourage you all to vote, to allow it to go to the voters. No harm done. Nobody heard about it, by the voter voting on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Is there a motion? There's a public hearing, actually, that I, okay. Anybody else want to address this? If not, then we'll close the public hearing and move into adoption of the ordinance. Is there a motion as to ordinance 2024-2288?
Motion to approve City Council Ordinance 2024-2288.
There's a second. I'm a second. For a vote. All right. Any comments or council?
Yes, I got a comment on that. Mr. Bynum, I'm just like you. Yes, whatever. Mr. Bynum, I'm just like you. I'm passionate about this. And again, I'm saying it again, this council does not have nothing to hide that I'm aware of. I don't have anything to hide. And like I say, for 30-some years, you got this raise.
No.
And it's not, and again, with me,
16 years. I was on city council for 16 years.
Well, however long it was, you got this raise.
I didn't say anything about it.
But again, you got it, Mr. Bob.
So what, Jay?
Okay.
Come on.
I got it.
You want it, cause he got it. What if he got something?
Okay,
But anyway, and for the community, it's just certain individuals in the community. I don't care what this council approve or disapprove, this council to certain people ain't done nothing. But this council has done more in the black community than any other council that's been in Lake City.
But the only White House have.
But anyway,
Okay, anybody else?
I would like to speak as well. Obviously, I'm gonna try to, talk as long as I have before on this. I have two perspectives on this. One, in my opinion, is very clear that elected officials are not city employees, like regular city employees. We're given a sacred trust. We are given the responsibility to spend the citizens' money. I think that it is perfectly reasonable, fair, and right to, when we're gonna spend money on ourselves, to put into our own wallet, that we tell them. We don't add it in with anything else. We make it very clear what it is and why we think we get it. And if we want it as a body, we can vote for it if this goes through, regardless of if we get yelled at. And if we get yelled at by enough people, we may get voted out of office, but that's a whole different thing. So in that respect, I believe that this is the right decision. Furthermore, and one of the reasons we talked about this last time, the reason that I had this drawn up, is because there's a significant potential for Mr. Bowden and his friends to create a petition to have us put on the ballot, which would draw us into a special election probably in the springtime. And if that does happen, if he is successful in what I already think is a good idea, it will cost the city anywhere from 20 to 40,000, not more than that from the estimates that I've been told. So the city would have to spend tens of thousands of dollars if he's successful in that campaign to do something that in my opinion is the right thing to do anyway. So I think it's a rough roll of the dice to not go ahead with this. And that's how people.
Okay, anybody else? All right, Ms. Ox, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Carter?
Yes.
Mayor Witt?
Yes.
Mr. Hill? Mr. Hill? Ms. Young?
No.
Okay, it passes 3-1. All right, moving on. Under ordinances, we have City Council Ordinance 2024-2289, which is quasi judicial here. Now I'll turn it over to our attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you said, you have before you tonight a matter that must be considered and voted on in a quasi-judicial manner. That is Ordinance 2024-2289, which is an ordinance considering an application for voluntary annexation submitted by Dallas King. The purpose of this procedure is to make sure that the applicant receives a complete or provides a complete presentation of their request to the council and receives a full and fair hearing on their application. All public testimony will be taken under oath, and anyone testifying will be subject to cross-examination, and all documents and exhibits shall be entered into evidence. The order of the presentation will be the city providing a summary, then the applicant presenting their application, and the city responding with a broader presentation, and then from there, those in opposition and then those for the application would present, and then there would be cross-examination, closing argument, or closing comments, and then discussion by the council. At this time, I would advise the council that comments from all persons with an interest in the proceeding are welcomed. Florida law requires the council's decision in quasi-judicial actions to be supported by competent substantial evidence presented in the hearing. Competent substantial evidence is the evidence that a reasonable mind would accept as adequate to support a conclusion, so it's not a very heavy burden. There must be a factual basis in the record to support opinion testimony from expert and non-expert witnesses. At this time, I need to inquire of each council member individually if they've received any ex parte communications regarding these matters or this matter, and if so, to disclose it. Councilwoman Young, have you had any ex parte communications?
I have not.
Councilman Carter?
No.
Mayor Witt?
No.
And Councilman Hill? No. Okay, thank you. Council members, you have before you proposed ordinance 2024-2289, which states an ordinance of the City of Lake City, Florida pursuant to petition number ANX 24-04 relating to voluntary annexation, making findings, annexing certain real property located in Columbia County, Florida, which is reasonably compact and contiguous to the boundaries of the City of Lake City, Florida, into the boundaries of the City of Lake City, Florida, providing severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, and providing an effective date. Mr. Rosenthal, at this time, are you moving the application and the city's analysis into the record?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you. And is there anyone from city staff that wishes to present any evidence or information for consideration by the council beyond that?
No.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone here on behalf of the applicant that wishes to speak?
Well, I'm married now, it just depends, I guess. Is this the one dealing with Ms. Davis?
No.
It's Dallas.
Oh,
Okay, thank you. Seeing no one wishing to speak on behalf of the applicant, is there anyone from the public that wishes to speak on the matter? Thank you, Mr. Warren. You swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, thank you.
So as it relates to voluntary annexation, I find this to be, again, a very disappointing item that we're now finding on the agenda. I think this is something that has caused this body to potentially raise the millage rate, because this body has not instructed management and management's teams to go out and do something about voluntary annexation. This should have been an aggressive policy already in place. I'm grateful that this happened. I don't see why it wouldn't pass. This is something that needs to be on the agenda every meeting, and hopefully in the future we'll see a slew of these just running down the page, because that's where the money is at. If anybody up here had any financial, any business sense, know anything about regulating business and bringing in tax revenue and making the city strong financially, they would know that aggressively going out the voluntary annexation is a key component to it, along with development and along with some other things that this council should not get a raise, but they have not participated. And that is why you see the millage rate going up potentially, which is a shame and it shouldn't. But this needs to happen there. And I think that it being on the agenda is perfect timing, and hopefully I pray that this body will get either staff involved or extra person hired just to do this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Warren. Is there anyone else from the public who wishes to comment on the application? Seeing no one, the applicant does not have anyone here. Mr. Rosenthal, did you have any closing comments on the application?
I do not.
Thank you. At this time, it would be appropriate for the city council to direct any questions to city staff or to anyone who presented testimony in the hearing. Is there anyone?
Mr. Mayor, I just curious. Obviously, annexation is great. I support it. Is there anything to know about this location? Is there any particulars? I haven't heard any. I've looked into it and asked a little bit about it. But it just seems like a pretty straightforward. That's all. I'm just making sure there was anything that was missing.
Thank you, Councilman Carter. Any other questions from council members? Okay.
Just that, if the management supports it, I don't know of anything negative about it. The public seems to support it, so I think that would be the reasons for adopting it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There are no more comments or questions from council members at this time. The decision of the city council should be based only on the evidence provided by sworn witnesses and the information, documentary information entered into evidence, including the city staff report and the application itself. The application may be adopted if the property proposed to be annexed is contiguous to the current municipal boundary, if the property proposed to be annexed is reasonably compact, and if the application bears the signatures of all owners of property in the area proposed to be annexed, and otherwise complies with applicable state laws and does not confer special privileges or rights on any person. This time the council may discuss the application and testimony, any findings of fact upon which the board wishes to base a decision, and vote on proposed ordinance number 2024-2289. Following an appropriate motion and second, A possible appropriate motion would be to adopt ordinance number 2024-2289 as read by title only on first reading.
What's the pleasure of council?
Move to adopt city council ordinance number 2024-2289.
Is there a second?
Where is this property located? This is a
Next to
road.
Casey's Produce.
This is located off of LaVille and Lachlan over there by Casey's Produce.
Second.
Okay, been a motion and a second. Any further discussion by council? Dr. you call the roll, please.
Mr. Carter?
Yay.
Mr. Hill?
Yes.
Ms. Young? Yes. Mayor Whit?
Yes. Okay, next is resolution, item 17, city council resolution 2024-071.
Catch up with my computer here in just a second. Mr. Mayor, council members, you have before you resolution number 2024-071, resolution of the City Council of the City of Lake City, Florida, constituting the fiscal year 2024-25 preliminary fire assessment resolution, providing authority, providing purpose and definitions relating to the provision of fire protection services, facilities, and programs in the City of Lake City, Florida, confirming previous resolutions as amended, reimposing fire protection assessments and establishing fire protection not to exceed assessment rates, directing the preparation of the preliminary assessment roll, authorizing a public hearing and directing the provision of notice thereof, providing for application of assessment proceeds, providing for conflicts, providing for an effective date. Should the council wish to adopt this resolution, an appropriate motion would be to adopt resolution number 2024-071 as read by title only.
Is there a motion that city council resolution 2024-071?
Mr. Mayor, make a motion to approve resolution 2024-071. Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion by council? Yes, I can.
Mr. Hill?
Yes.
Mr. Carter?
Yay.
Ms. Young? Yes. Mayor Whit?
Yes. Okay, next we have, discussion possible action to consider appointing Daniel Johnson to the planning and zoning board of adjustment and historic preservation agency board.
Mr. Mayor, I have, I don't know Ms. Johnson, we have their application. Apart from the name and basic information, there's really nothing, there's no information, no credentials, no background, no why she's interested or any of that kind of stuff. And I'd like to see whenever people apply, maybe Mr. Young or Mr. Angelo, encourage them to put some of that basic information, give us the opportunity to get to know them a little bit.
Right.
It's very hard just to approve a name, you know?
If I may, Mayor, we can get some additional information from her to fill out some information for you.
That'd be great.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I know her from church. So from what I know, I think she would be a good choice to be put on this board.
You want to ask the table, or you want to make a motion?
I'd like to, is Ms. Johnson here?
Yes, she's in order.
Mr. Mayor, if perhaps she could approach and tell us a little bit about herself and why she'd like to serve on this board.
Ms. Johnson, would you like to address us briefly?
Well, if I knew I was gonna have to come up, I would have definitely wore different shoes. Hello, everybody. My name is Tanya Johnson. I have been in education for 20 years now. I am a guidance counselor at RSGA. I am also a licensed and ordained minister at Olivet Missionary Baptist Church. I am the mother of 3 children. I am married. I'm interested in being on this board just to be an asset to our county, just to do more for our community. And when I was asked to be on the board, I accepted because I wanted to be a part and do something great in our community and just get out there a little bit more outside the 4 walls of our beautiful school. Our children love education, love our young people, because they are our legacy that we're working towards and pouring all that knowledge into them. So if you have any questions for me right now, I'll be more than happy to answer them. I also have my master's degree in education. I'm also working towards my doctoral degree at this time. So yeah, ask away, I don't mind.
Mr. Mayor, I do have a couple quick questions.
Okay.
Are you aware that the appointment to the Planning and Zoning Board implies serving also on the on the Board of Adjustments and Historic Preservation Agency?
Yes, I am.
And are you aware, I served a couple years on those boards myself, that it is tedious and they don't pay?
I do. Again, as a guidance counselor, if you know anything, you're working with 504s, IEPs, a lot of paperwork. Yeah, I do work with the children and I interact with them, but it's quite tedious because they're dependent on my observation, taking time reading the laws, because you know there are laws that we have to follow in the public school education sector. And one of those things is being intentional about what decisions you're making based on what you're reading. So, yes, sir.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
I didn't know the name,
Yes, ma'am.
but I do know her, have seen her in action, quite a bit. And, I think she'll be a great asset.
Okay, well, thank you for coming out.
No problem.
All right.
Mr. Mayor, before you call for a vote, just to clarify, I believe, and then Mr. Rosenthal can confirm this, but I think what we're asking is just whether we should bring back a resolution at the next meeting appointing her, but not actually voting on the appointment tonight.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that.
Okay.
Yes. All right. Mr. Hill, do you want to make a motion?
Yes, to put her on board? No.
No, to put it on the next agenda.
To bring back a resolution.
Yes, bring it back to the next agenda.
Is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion? Ms. Sykes, you call the roll.
Mr. Hill,
Yes.
Ms. Young,
Yes.
Mr. Carter,
Yeah.
Mayor Whit.
Yes. Thank you. Next is item 19, discussion possible action on registered community center cheer champions 5,000 funding request. Ms. Young.
Yes, it's Ms. Baldwin.
Yes, Young.
Okay, yes, I received a call, concerning a, group of ladies, who are, willing to put their volunteer effort, and this is something that is not just for something sporadic. They, have been working with this, and it's for cheerleading. And of course, I'm hooray for cheerleaders because it's for girls. And these girls would be cheering for, the, football league, and which is very soon. So, of course, I'm glad it's on the agenda tonight, but I will ask them if you have any questions of what they have to offer. Mayor, if it's okay, I would ask them to step to the podium and relay that information. Introduce yourselves and then introduce your organization.
Hi, I'm Kendra Ned. I am the president of RCC Cheer Champions. This is
Barbara Parker. I am the secretary of the RCC Cheer Champions. And I'm Casey Harris, vice president.
RCC was established this July due to the girls not having much to do in the community, and RCC started a new football program that left Columbia County Youth Association and started a football program directly with Richardson Community Center. Being that they started Richardson Community Center football, they didn't have a cheerleading team to collide with that. So they nominated a board, and we were nominated as the board members. So we came in wanting to make a difference with our community, not just our community, but in the different school zones, asking for cheerleaders to come. However, being that school is started and the economy is the way that it is, a lot of parents at this time does not have the funds to accommodate their girls to cheer. It's a lot of young girls that would love to cheer, and we're doing sponsorships, we're asking fundraisers, and we're also doing payment plans. But due to the economy the way that it is, some of our kids are less fortunate and does not have the funds to cheer but would love to. So in order to do this, we're asking our community, the council, the city of Lake City, to help fund some of those kids that are less fortunate to cheer, that would love to cheer this season.
And if I may ask, how many girls do you expect would become a part of this cheer?
Well, unfortunately, as of right now, we have had over 60 girls come out and ask to cheer. Some that did not make the RSJ, the Richardson Middle School cheer team. Some that didn't make the Lake City Middle School cheer team. They came out and wanted to cheer. However, when their parents did come in contact and ask for the fee for the uniforms, because there is no registration fee, we just want kids to come out and be able to cheer. They were stating that they didn't have the funds due to school starting back and different things going on. So if they were on SNAP, I found a grant through Elite Sports that it's not a guarantee that you can get the grant funds for your child, but some kids will be able to get those funds if it's available for them and if they qualify. However, it is a cutoff with how many applications they take a day. So it's just, we're anticipating 50 because we're a new organization, but it could be more.
Absolutely, and I'm just so glad to hear that you're reaching out to other areas to assist in this. How much is the registration?
The registration, there is no registration fee. It's basically the cost of the uniform, and we have went to wholesale places like Omni Cheer to get full uniforms, which includes book bags, the shell tops. They are actually being coincided with like Lake City Middle School cheer uniforms, but we got them at a discounted rate for like $175.
Okay, so we looked at each child would be expected to pay $175 if they can afford the $175
for uniforms.
Okay, and how did you come to $5,000? What's in your mind that this $5,000 will be for?
Okay, so with $5,000, we're looking at having cheer competitions we're also looking at having end of the year banquets. With the $5,000, the $5,000 doesn't even cover the whole 50 kids that we are anticipating on having. It's just a start to cover like t-shirts, different things to start them off in the program, and we can fundraise to get the rest of the money. We also have fill my megaphones to help families that need someone to sponsor their child, and it has worked for some kids, and some kids it didn't work for, unfortunately. But the $5,000 will cover at least 10 kids. 10 kids full uniform and a full ride for this season.
And when do you expect to hear an answer from the grant?
For the ones that apply for the grant, some said that it has a cutoff the time that you have to apply within a set like opening when they open up the portal online, and sometimes they make it, sometimes they don't. I know only 2 have made it as of now, and we have gave that information to many.
So, question, $5,000, and I know it doesn't go a long way.
Yes, ma'am.
But if you get this $5,000 and you're not able to fulfill this project that you have going, are you willing to return the funds back to?
Absolutely.
Okay, and of course, we are big on accountability now. So I don't know how the council is going to want you to provide this accountability, whether you turn in your receipts first or however, but you're willing to do whatever is required. That's how much hope and how much you want for these girls. Is that right?
Yes, at this point, the accountability is so strong. We have a treasurer, her name is Deshae Rowland. She's over our finances, and she works directly with Richardson Community Center and their financial department. So every dime, if we just order a t-shirt, it's accounted for. It's not like how it was ran in the past with the other organization. Every cent that we spend will be accounted for. Our goal is no child left behind. All roads lead to Richardson Community Center. Any child that is wanting to cheer, we have mentors from Columbia High School cheer team and Lake City Middle School that will come out and fosters kids to help them, motivate them. And it's not just about cheering, but also teaching our young girls that education is important, leadership is important, and to give them something and hopes to do instead of falling on the wayside.
When does the program start?
The actual program starts August 31st, that's when they have their first jamboree.
And how long does it take to get the uniform?
Right now, it could be back ordered, depending on how many squads they have, it's a 2-week turnaround, but if, we don't know all the teams that they're gonna have because they're still asking for football players. So right now, they have a total of 8 football teams, so depending on the squads and the cheer coaches that get, their backgrounds approved and volunteer approved through Columbia County School System, they will choose what uniform packet they wanna use for their team, but the turnaround time can be 3 to 4 weeks if it's back ordered, depending on the uniform that they choose.
But if you don't get the uniform, I'm sure you already have a plan as to a type of uniform that you will wear with it, okay?
My only question would be, and I don't know if it's necessarily to you guys specifically, but a couple months ago, I think we approved a program through Ms. Phillips called the Mayor's Matching Grant. It's like, kind of smallish grants for various projects and stuff like that. Have you heard about that or applied for that?
No, sir, this is new to us.
No, I'll answer that. If it's okay, I'll answer that. Okay, they did make the attempt to do so. If I'm on the right. The application process for this, is this the right one?
Yes.
Okay, they did make an attempt to do so, but it's not quite, there is still a little glitch that we have to work with as far as the online. And just a pinch away. And that's why they're standing before us today. But they did make the attempt to apply by way of application online.
Yes, they did.
To be clear, you're saying that there's an issue with the application online?
Right.
Well, it's an issue with the function of it, it's not working properly, we're trying to figure out why it's not working properly, but that's where we are right now. And I filled a couple of calls from somebody in your position too.
I think you were talking about Lachey, I think that is the program that she was talking about.
Any other questions of the?
Okay, thank y'all, and I've got several that want to speak to this issue before we move forward, so y'all will be seated, and I will
Thank you.
call Mr. Bowden.
Mr. Mayor, Councilman, I promise to be brief. Let me say up front that I'm not opposed to any program that will assist kids. I got a agenda package on Friday about 4 or 5 o'clock, where I called the clerk's office and worked on their supporting documentation. I'm of the opinion that if a council member or you, Mr. Mayor, make a presentation, will be public, asking for $5,000, it should be something in the agenda package to identify who it is, what they represent, and that, I don't question that it's 501c3, but all that should be in the package. I think that we're going down a road now that, it's the girls now, it's the boys next week, it's the senior citizens next week, it's the veterans. I stood right here and opposed the veterans that want to send veterans to go fishing, and I'm a combat veteran. The Vietnam combat veteran, got Vietnam State Corps malaria, all that kind of stuff. I still don't think the taxpayers ought to take me to go fishing. I don't have the same view about the cheerleading thing. My problem is accountability. We're accountable when you put out front. We want $5,000 of taxpayers' money, and this is what happened. And this is who we are. The 501c3, this is the president, this is the board member, this is how we meet. All of that should be on the table. Just coming up and saying $5,000 because you lack them, that's not how it goes. I'm not saying they shouldn't get it, but it should be a process. And if the online process is not working, then fix that. But you shouldn't come, the public should be, as a member of the public, I should not read an agenda package and see $5,000 for action requested by council. With nothing in the agenda package to say what it's about, who it is, all that. I went online, I actually share that information all the time. Every time I see something, I share it. But I think it's doing something. But we talking about giving somebody $5,000, you gotta do more than just say, I'm gonna do this for 50 kids, for 5. That process is not how it's supposed to go. Apply for it, follow the process, you earn it, you get it. But not because I feel that it's a good idea.
Okay, Mr. Warren?
Mr. Mayor, thank you for recognizing me. I know the young ladies that's a part of this program, one I'm related to. I've supported her program for many, many years out of my own personal pocket. I think it's an awesome, thing to, have young ladies with things to do. The only issue that I take with it is similar to Mr. Bowden. I think that, what was presented before us was a rehearsed dog and pony show. I saw, Ms. Young prompting the questions as to how to circumvent the process. When I look at the agenda, I look at the agendas to know what's on the agenda, and it's very misleading to the public because it says Richardson Community Center. It doesn't say anything about shit. It don't say any of those type of things. And my first issue is, just like Ms. Young loves to holler wolf, right? She said the same thing about the road was falling in, or the sky was falling when it came to the NEPLAC, right? No backup material, put them on the agenda as an emergency item. We found out that it should have been going to their government body, which is the school board. Same thing with Richardson. She went, gave them money for the school summer program. They should have went to the county. Remember, the city no longer owns the Richardson Community Center. It's a program that has a bigger pocketbook and a bigger wallet and a bank account and a budget than we do. We're getting ready to face some very strategic budget issues coming up. And we set in place a process. My board that I formerly sat on, which is the Annexation Park Board, the president came up here and asked for $100,000 to create a new recreation department at Annexation. And you all sat right here and told him, basically, no, you have to go through the process. We'll see you at budget time, fill out an application, and we'll address that during budget. We cannot let Ms. Young continue to just put things on the agenda, find people that she go to church with, maybe friends with, buddies with, and say, here, I'm City Councilwoman Young, I'm gonna go ahead and coach you on how to get $5,000 to $10,000 to $20,000 because this is something that I wanna do that I think is good. There's a process. There's a process to everything, Mayor. Why did we put that process in place? Well, if that organization get $5,000, then Andy Maddox should get their $100,000. So I'm asking that if $5,000 go to this organization as a former board member, I'm asking that you all give the same courtesy to the Hispanics that come out there and play soccer. Now that I fought for the soccer goals, and also to the young black kids, both girls and boys who come out to Annexation Park and play. I ask that you make that a supervised recreation center by giving them $100,000 to match this $5,000 as well. Why Ms. Young is not on board with that, and why was Annexation Park kept out of the loop about a new football team, a cheer team, and it has the football field?
Thank you.
Mayor, if I may. First of all, I've never spoken with either one of these ladies. I don't go to church with them. I believe they go to church, but I don't go to church with them. That doesn't matter. That just shows how well spoken you were, and I appreciate it. And the other thing is, they're not Richardson Community Center. They falls under the umbrella of Richardson Community Center. I believe they have their paperwork, and to be honest about it, I really thought that it was gonna be on the next agenda when they have all their paperwork in. They have it, and if we want to pass it to the next meeting, that's fine, they're prepared. And that's what I like about it. They didn't come up here horsing around. And the other thing is, we don't own the property at Richardson Community Center, but we cannot neglect the people because we don't own the property. And we gave to Annie Maddox, and Annie Maddox haven't even showed accountability for it. So what am I missing? What is Shavella Young missing?
You're missing a whole lot.
No, I'm not.
You're phony. You're
No, I'm
faking.
not. I'm not missing a thing, and these ladies are, let me finish, Mayor, if you don't mind.
I mean, I'm gonna finish too.
These ladies has done an awesome job, and I believe they're gonna do an awesome job with these cheerleaders. And if the grown folk put aside the personal issues, and let's do what's best in the interest of these children and the community, these meetings will go better, and the community will be in a better place. I said it, and before I take it back, I'll add something to it.
Well, add something to it, because here's the thing about it, you ain't gonna be in that seat for long anyway, so.
Doesn't matter. I'll eat before I got it.
Yeah, so I'm the one that got you eating, I'm the one that got you a job at the VA, I'm the one that got you a job at the Richardson Community Center. You's a lie. Yeah, she called me a liar.
Yes.
Yeah, and she's a whole liar and everything else.
y'all.
Well, do something about it then.
Point of order on, I'm not even sure who.
You sure you just wanna say it?
I think we know where we're at. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, Mr. Ben Lostrom.
So,
I have some comments, kind of along the same lines. Lots of people come up here and they all have, at least in their own eyes, something that is gonna help either kids or old people or community. You know, they all have a legit reason why they want money. They wanna, have farming plots, all this stuff. And we're always told, well, there's a form for it, there's a system for it. You know, if it's a small enough money, you can ask it one way. If it's a bigger amount, you ask it another way. And that's what they're all told. However, we found out tonight that these people tried and it didn't work. Somehow the system had a glitch, no big deal. That's what systems do. Anyway, so while you work on the glitch, however, everybody else, let's say, could have been nobody, could have been 20 other people, tried to do the same thing, asked for money, and because of the glitch, they are not here, not presented, not given an opportunity. However, somehow these people bypass it. They're like, oh, well, there's a glitch, but it doesn't matter. We'll have somebody put it on the agenda, and if everybody says it's great, then bam, we get our money. I don't like circumventing the system, because if it's that easy, and anyone can say what they want, but it does seem like when you can get a council person to essentially be on your side, you get your money easily. Other people come up here and ask for money, and they say their whole spiel, and everyone says thank you, they turn around and get nothing. But somehow if you can get a council person on your side, then it's just added as an item, they tell everybody how great it is, it helps the kids, it helps whatever, and bam, they get their money. And that's the whole point of these systems. And so if the system is, got a glitch and it doesn't work online, we simply tell them we're working through the system. Once the system's working, we'll put you in the pot with everybody else and see what happens. But getting pulled out of that pot without all the other people that were potentially also kicked out of the system, able to, be on it, is unfair. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, I want to respond. First of all, I haven't heard of anyone who tried the online system and it didn't work. If they tried the online system and it didn't work and they had come to me, I'll do what I can to help. These people, I don't know what you meant by that, but these people called me and asked for help. And that's why they got help. Thank you.
Ms. Young, you mentioned a minute ago, and that was gonna be my recommendation, is that it be on the next agenda. It's only a week and a half away. And if they could put a budget together and kind of explain how the process will work and how they're gonna divide the money up and that, then I'd like to see that happen.
Yes, sir, it's ready.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to just say, I think we talked a lot in the meeting where we had started that mayor matching grant program about the need for organization, system to, again, it's all about transparency. Makes it clear what you have to do to get the thing, and then you go through the process and get it. If the application online is not working, I don't see any particular reason why a paper application can't be processed, given to someone, filled out, detailed information brought to Ms. Phillips or the manager, whoever needs to go through it first. Seems like, what's online is gonna be just a picture of the paper application. I feel like we could probably process that while our system isn't working. So I'd like to see something like that. It seems like a worthy thing to support, but also we need to see details,
Why don't we discuss that, have that on the agenda for the next meeting, of how we do it.
I asked for that, Mayor, and it'll be ready.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, is there a motion to table?
I'll make a motion table to the next meeting.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, any further discussion? Ms. Sykes, will you call the roll, please?
Ms. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Hill?
Yes.
Mr. Carter?
Yeah.
Mayor Webb?
Yes. Okay, item 20, discussion possible action, job description for senior planners with the growth management department. Ms. Bible.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is brought to your attention today at the request of our city manager, Mr. Rosenthal, believing that there is a need for a position of in growth management for, it says senior planner, but it's actually a principal planner. The job description says principal planner and the report to council says principal planner. But there, with the growing needs of the city and the current additional projects, Mr. Rosenthal believes there's an immediate need for this principal planner in growth management, and this position is needed to help with the overload, meet the demands in growth management, and help remain in compliance and serve the city's current and future needs of planning, research, and analysis. Questions specifically?
Mr. Rosenthal, this will be a new position in the budget this year.
It will be a new position in the budget this year. We're projecting growth of $50 million this year coming up.
And y'all are just asking permission to get the job description.
Absolutely. And to hire the person.
Yes, to go ahead and hire before the new budget year.
Mr. Martin, do we need a motion for that, or consensus that we?
The council can either, and on something like this, I'm not sure if the tradition is for it to be brought back and adopted by resolution, or whether it is to just adopt it by motion based on the recommendation of the manager, but yes, there would need to be a vote on it at some point, so.
Well, let's do that. Is there a motion to authorize the job description?
Move to authorize the job description.
Second.
Any further discussion? Ms. Sykes, will you call the roll?
Mayor, can we amend the motion to not only authorize the job description, but authorize the approval of the new position in this current fiscal year?
So, and then,
Ms. Bobble, is that all you need on that?
Aye. Call the roll.
Mr. Carter?
Yay.
Mr. Hill?
yes.
Ms. Young? Yes. Mayor West?
Yes. Okay, we're at comments from council. I want to thank our staff. I've heard nothing but good reports all over the community. I appreciate every time there's a storm, they do have to go out, whether they thank the police, the public works, the fire, the staff. It's unbelievable. And I've been here 19 years and I've seen a lot of issues. We've had tornadoes, fires, storms and everything, and every time they've always moved to the occasion. I want to thank everybody for all they did.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I have a few things I'd like to say. First of all, at the beginning of this meeting, my only intention was to say the same thing you just said. I spent a lot of time on the roads on Monday, and man, Public Works and city staff were crushing it. I'd see trees fall, come back by a half hour later, and they were up, they were gone. They did a really, really good job, and I've heard just from people I know living in surrounding areas saying that they're wondering where their people are. And I know where our people were, and they did a really good job. They were Johnny on the spot and still are. So I just want to say thank you very much to all you guys. It was really impressive. A couple of things in the meeting that were brought up that I think are worth discussing too. One, we did, it was before I was here, the board did approve removing the benches downtown. So I was wondering, if we can maybe get on that, because it really does seem they're primarily used for beds.
I know Mr. Rosenthal is fairly new, and I'm not sure he even is aware that that was.
I was not aware that was an issue. I can check with Dee and see where we were on this before I got here, and I can report back to the board.
Okay, and then two more things. First thing, or third thing, we discussed and we approved a annexation, a voluntary annexation today. I think that's excellent. I've gone on record as saying that I'd like to see an annexation, at least one on every agenda at some point in the near future, and there's certainly the land to do it. It is an excellent way to grow the city without raising taxes, which is the way I like to see it happen. And I'm also aware, and some other folks are aware, there's roughly, I think, 50 acres of enclaved land that is not currently in the city that we do actually have staff working on. And some of the stuff that was in the consent agenda tonight, I don't know if everybody read it, but it was about surveying some of that land so we could begin the process of going through it. So from what I've heard, we're looking over the next couple of years of hopefully annexing a lot. So that staff is already working on that, and that's exciting. And then the last thing I would just say, and I'm not trying to get anybody riled up or upset anybody, but I want to say when developers and when people are looking at moving into Lake City, they watch these meetings, they see how we run things, and they see how we don't. Tonight, multiple times, members of the board basically had arguments with people sitting in seats outside there. I think that there is a couple hours twice a month that we shouldn't be arguing across the diocese. This is our job here is to do and conduct the city's business. to listen to the citizens and to do and conduct the city's business. And I think that it is a truly terrible look for us to be yelling at people and, Mr. Mayor, quite frankly, letting people yell back. And I would just ask that if you're gonna have arguments, not here, not now. And that's it, thank you.
Let me say, and I was gonna say this before, Councilman Carter had even made this speech. First of all, I counsel, attorney, and all you polite people, administration, I do apologize. I stepped outside of character, that's not even me. But I will say that, I feel like I experienced the other side of being passionate, if I can put it that way. I don't call names. I wasn't taught to say call a person a liar. I got a whipping for that as a child. And even as an adult, you don't hear me say that. So I apologize. If my mom was here, she wouldn't appreciate it. So she's gone away, but I still want to carry on the same morals that I was taught. And I just want you all to accept my apology. Ladies, accept my apology.
What about the person?
We can move on. Accept my apology, Mr. Warren. I didn't overlook you. Accept my apology. You know that's not me. And we can move in a decent manner. We can do that. We have to learn to agree to disagree. It's okay. We're not gonna agree on things. And I'm gonna be very mindful from today out. And this, I'm gonna set this in a stone as a memory that I never step in this space again.
Well, you,
Anything else?
Mr. Mayor,
Council.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Hill.
if you mind,
Go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, if Ms. Young is warm enough to openly apologize for her mishaps and miscommunication, I'm willing to do the same thing. I was taught to not to talk to women a certain way. I shouldn't have fired back. I think too often, coming from our neck of the woods, there's a lot of volatile things taking place, and we've been through. Most of it is, unfortunately, it's a lot of hurt that goes on in the community, for lack of a better word, and sometimes it gets misplaced. So, Ms. Young, I've known you for a very long time and know the position that you hold in your heart and your position you hold in God. And my grandmother was good friends with your mother, and so if my grandmother would have known that I called you a liar and called you out of your name, you know the conversation she would be having with me, I think it would be fair to say you know what she would be saying. So I do apologize to you and before all the folks sitting here as well. Thank you, ma'am.
I appreciate it, and just like I always tell you, I love you just the same.
Thank you. Okay, Jake.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming out Saturday to make my community day a success. I'd like to thank the police chief for having a little booth set up out there, the fire chief for the splash pad, Mr. Steve for what he contributed as far as the public works. I'd just like to thank everybody for the hand that they to make that a success. And also, I was out in the storm on Monday, riding around in my district, and I also rode around in this Young, and I don't know what your district is, but anyway, I was out, riding with Mr. Grissom and Mr. Brown. Your guys were outstanding. They should have made, they made you proud. And I appreciate what they've done and what they're doing. And again, thank you.
Okay, anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.